at the end of the quarter.
15 seconds left.
As you see here, the Radicals are trying to make it hard to move up quickly with a zone look.
As Travis Carpenter finds the hole, will he be able to get over the top of Pettit Scanling? Oh, and he does.
Those hucks from the Mechanix.
By the way, this shouldn't surprise you, Alex, because that was Joseph Cubitt who had the assist.
Yeah, I think that's 5 for him
yeah,
so far.
he has had many of them. Starting to lose count as the AlleyCats try to take the lead back, and they do. And the AlleyCats with it on the move. Carpenter has it again.
A lot of wide open space here in the middle of the field. The AlleyCats have been working it up.
And it was just caught shy of the end zone by Keegan North. Has to get it in and finds Carpenter.
By North, Mazuka corrals it, but they are moving backwards, and that's a nice change. Rolling with North is Repperman, and he jacks one to Carpenter deep. AT giving chase, but decides to drop off and cover Rick Gross, who's going into the end zone. No, instead it's Graber on Gross, and leaving Jacobs alone in the back of the end zone is Alex Thomas, and maybe he made a bad decision there.
This swings around to Travis Carpenter. Carpenter forehand to the end zone and finds Keenan Plew.
Yeah, we played at the University of Alabama. I was a senior and he was a mere freshman, and he was already better than me then. And I had 4 years on him.
Plew out to Carpenter. Immediately into a backhand looking for Brock. Oh, what a throw from Travis Carpenter.
It is nice as a handler to have Cam Brock back there being able to streak deep and just know that he's going to be able to track down the disc. And so great throw, great backhand by Travis Carpenter. We're going to watch it right here. Huge windup. Cameron Brock, no problem. Yeah, you really want to throw an over the top, a high throw right there.
It was Sam Batson, and now Batson will look to the end zone. Looking for Williams in one-on-one coverage, and great defense from Travis Carpenter.
Victor Luo up to Wilson. The pass almost drifted over his head. Nice cut from Kelly, finding some space. But again, this disc is going to give an opportunity for Travis, and another swat. Travis fired up.
You just kind of get to the point where maybe you're behind your man a little bit, and you can let your man go, and then all of a sudden just pick up a person on the sideline with the disc.
Carpenter finds himself back in the handler space and puts up a deep throw to Keegan North. Keegan North gets big as Minnesota transitions into a man defense.
Excellent transition there. Just almost immediately all 7 players had a man. And so Minnesota has done a pretty good job in terms of almost frazzling the AlleyCats offense here.
Travis Carpenter with an amazing save as a Cameron Brock high-release backhand just doesn't really get anywhere. Carpenter resetting the disc, looking to finish off this point, trying to figure out a way to take over. Brock hits Carpenter on the strike cut. Carpenter puts up the hammer across the field to Alex Henderson, and Alex Henderson on the goal. Hits Brock. Tough defense downfield. Travis Carpenter gets the disc and unleashes a backhand intended for Levi Jacobs. Defenders in chase, but cannot get there in time, and Levi Jacobs comes up with the goal. AlleyCats on the far sideline now. North, Carpenter. Henderson goes for the in cut across, doesn't get open. Rick Gross extends that arm and gets it.
I'm not quite sure how it looked like a definite block there for the wind chill.
Go gadget arms. And then Carpenter puts the blade across the field to Rick Gross. Angled stack for the Cats. Carpenter out of the front of the stack. Just blows by his guy. Floaty throw from North, and Carpenter comes down with the sky. Carpenter makes another highlight, this time on the receiving end. Keegan North and Travis Carpenter both having huge games for the AlleyCats. High stall, hits the inside break to
15
Jacobs.
here.
Jacobs around to Plew. Plew to North.
10 seconds.
North with the disc. He goes for the hammer to Travis
Wow.
Carpenter. Carpenter comes down with it against the defense. 4 seconds to go.
And
AlleyCats take the lead 24-23.
with everything that has happened today, for it to be Keegan North to throw it to Travis Carpenter there, we got 4 seconds left here, so hold on. We've seen scores happen in the AUDL with like 1 or 2 seconds left.
Meanwhile, Henderson floats this one out to Matsuka, marked by Pat McMullen. Carpenter, covered by Alex Thomas, and he throws a low huck, and Owen Watt giving chase, but Levi Jacobs is going to be open in the end zone again.
Cameron Brock resets here to his teammate Keenan Plew, up to Travis Carpenter for the Indianapolis O-line, and Carpenter with an outside-in flick, perfectly in stride for Keegan North.
Carpenter and Plew working through handler movement. Carpenter able to rip a backhand across the field and down to Keegan North, and that's going to be an AlleyCats goal on a pretty throw. The defense is going to shadow underneath and force the deep looks because the wind is so high and they know how hard that throw is. So you'd have to think that that's something to look forward to later on. Carpenter working up the line, layout grab in the end zone, and Travis Carpenter with the goal. AlleyCats break and take a lead 7-5 over the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. Travis Carpenter puts it up the line to Alex Henderson. Henderson puts it back up the line to Carpenter, who lays out for a beautiful score. AlleyCats get some flow up the line. Gross with the disc near the center of the field.
Yeah, and all really working the break space there. Just well-timed cuts one after another. The AlleyCats were able to work it upfield.
Gross to Brock. Brock puts one up to Carpenter, who has to lay out to save it. Carpenter gets up and puts one up the line. Looks off the Carpenter upline look and goes around the field to Gross. Gross with the disc. Gross to Plew. Plew hits Carpenter on the around. Carpenter with the disc. Keegan North going deep, and Carpenter puts one out to space for him. North giving chase, and he lays out and rolls through the catch for the AlleyCats goal.
Carpenter gets a piece of the throw, and Indy gets it back, so the Empire with 2 break opportunities that have gone astray at this point. Nearly 4 minutes long now.
And he's a guy, the first time I saw him play, you just, kind of like you were saying with his eyes, there's an intensity that Cats carries, and he carries it very well. That just lets you know he's here to win.
Travis Carpenter bids to get the disc right back for the AlleyCats.
Yeah, speaking of intensity.
He looks like he's diving into a pool when he lays out.
He does.
North bumped by Weintraub, sells it and gets the call.
Smart, lean, expects the contact and gets the call.
I like it.
Carpenter after the D to the end zone. Gross back of the corner, and he makes the catch. And Kittredge might have gotten a piece of that on the way by.
It's hard to believe that with 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter, that's the first time Indy has scored in that end zone. I mean, it's had an iron lock on that upwind end zone, and they found a lot of ways to turn it over. They almost had another one, but you see the one previously in the red zone. Travis Carpenter dialing up the big defensive effort.
I'm curious here. Did Bo get a piece of this?
No, he didn't get it.
Didn't look like it from that angle.
And it was inch perfect to the back corner. And finally, they get into the end zone, and they'll get a chance to go downwind on defense.